Let me tell you what makes our membership completely different from anything else you will find in the industry. This is not a weekly newsletter. This is not generic compliance updates that you could find anywhere online. This is enforcement intelligence specific to your local area as it happens. We work alongside predominantly 80 local authorities across England. We speak to enforcement officers, housing inspectors, local authority managers, homeless charities, solicitors, tenant liaison officers. We know what is being planned. We make it our business. We know what is being prioritized, and we bring that intelligence directly to you before you find out the hard way. Some local authorities have received Section 114 notices. That's equivalent of financial bankruptcy. And you might think that this means them being less active on enforcement. Don't make that mistake. They still have a legal duty on them by the government, and they are still taking it seriously. And in fact, even those local authorities under financial pressure are not sitting still. They are coming harder. They need revenue more than before. And others, they may have full funding and the full powers, and they are being extremely aggressive right now. Which one is yours? That is what we keep track of. What enforcement activity? That is what we bring to you. Nobody else in this industry can do this. And we don't know anybody that is doing this, because it varies from local authority to local authority, and it takes relationships we have built over time, to do this. That is your free membership. Weekly updates, monthly YouTube videos, live sessions, monthly education podcasts, compliance awareness content, property record management for one property, all included at no cost. And as a free member, you can email us questions. We will address them in our weekly updates. Now, let's move on to silver membership. This is where we open the door to our bespoke CRM system, built specifically for letting agents and landlords. And when I say bespoke, I mean there's nothing else like this out there that I know of, that we've seen. We've built this from the ground up around the specific needs of agents and landlords operating this new compliance landscape. No other system that I know of, what I said, does this, right? Category 1. So our main USP is risk assessment. It includes Category 1 and Category 2 risk assessment survey tools built into it. And here is why this matters. Category 1 hazards over time, you will start to recognize for the more obvious ones. But it is the Category 2 hazards described as initial or minor. These are the tricky ones, because these are the things that you walk past every single day without noticing. Like, for example, a piece of liner coming away from the edge of the bath, allowing water to seep through and cause damage right below. Brickwork starting to crumble, the motor and the brickwork starting to crumble, which when it rains, it can lead to damp. Guttering that hasn't been cleared, not enough lighting on the staircase, a trip hazard outside. These are things an enforcement officer is trained to spot, and whether they fine you or issue an improvement notice is entirely at their discretion. The CRM allows you to upload everything, document your inspections, and keep your records in order. And whether there are things that you're not sure about, you can pass them on to us and we can review them. We can identify what needs attention. That is how the system is designed to work alongside you instead of you. We recommend risk assessments carried out at least at the start of tenancy and at the end of the tenancy, especially at the end of tenancy, because this does not lead to unlawful eviction. Right, because if they have Category 1 and Category 2 hazards. And this also prevents rent repayment orders, etc. as well. So that's why having these risk assessment surveys is absolutely essential. Right? So that way you have a clean record of what is going in and what's going out. That protects you, and that protects your landlord, right? So now, here's a critical difference. If an independent professional has carried out a risk assessment on your property and something is found afterwards, you can say at the time of that assessment, this was not present. It occurred after. That changes everything. It is far more likely to result in an improvement notice than a fine. It shows proactive compliance. It shows you took things seriously. Silver gives you access to our compliance documents, templates, and resources. Unlimited property record management, tenants and occupant management. Now the gold membership. Everything in silver and considerably more. Training video libraries available on demand, like 50 to 60% discounts on our training courses. Priority, but obviously that is subject to terms and conditions. Priority responses to urgent questions. We aim to get back to you within 48 hours. Right? Free support and guidance across all areas of compliance. Right? Where you have got where we used our free tenant placement service. And you will also be invited to regular monthly and quarterly agent and landlord meetings online, right, and also in person, where we bring together and keep you at the front of what is happening. And here's something, right, specific that for Gold members. If your landlord wants to carry out a full risk assessment, right, so this is for landlords, right, so if you want to carry out a full risk assessment on the property as Gold members, right, you will receive 50% off our standard rate, subject to terms and conditions. A risk assessment that would normally cost £500, right, as a landlord, right, you'll be getting a substantially discounted price, done at the start and end of tenancies. Clean records going in, clean records coming out, right, everyone protected. Right. One thing I do want to make is clear is, right, at the start of tenancies, right, you're going to have to do a full risk assessment, but ongoing during this, right? So if you're not sure of anything, right, you can upload things and you get them at discounted rate. You're not going to get it at the £500, right? So here's what I can do for you. At the very least, sign up for the free membership today. Right now, it costs you nothing, and you will start receiving intelligence that you simply cannot get elsewhere. If you want to understand what Silver Gold can do for your agency, book a free 30-minute consultation. We will walk you through everything and answer any questions that you have. Right. One thing to remember, at the time, these are prices set at the time of this recording. Things can change afterwards, right? Look at around the website. There are many services here that can protect your agency, help you grow in many areas as well, and also for you as a landlord. So we're here to help you. If you found this video helpful, please don't stop here. This short video only scratches the surface. I strongly recommend that you now watch our full presentation, which stands and sits alongside this video. And it's about landlords and letting agents, 50 things you need to know, how to protect yourself against £40,000 fines, 24-month rent repayment orders of up to £70,000 plus, disrepair claims, and the biggest compliance risk facing the private rented sector in your homes that you didn't know existed. Yes, it is longer than this video, but it could be the most valuable 20 minutes you will invest in protecting your properties, your business, and your income. This is not small change, right? So in my professional opinion, it is the biggest change to the private rental sector that I have seen in my lifetime. In that presentation, I'll explain where your biggest risks really are, why those risks are inside your properties, not outside them, why certificates alone do not prove a property safe, why Category 1 and Category 2 hazards matter, why an incident does not have to happen before enforcement of fines and action begin, why landlords and agents are both under greater scrutiny and being able to be fined, how tenants have been educated and coached by no-win, no-fee solicitors and claims organizations, and most importantly, what practical action you should take. So step 1, book your free 30-minute consultation. Don't wait to watch the video presentation before you book your free 30-minute consultation, as we are getting inundated with bookings and we are limiting the number of people per consultation. Landlords and agents consultation are separate, but landlords and agents are booked together in small limited groups, as most have the same questions, and you can email personal questions that will be answered simultaneously, which you didn't submit during the time of booking. By watching the presentation, I'm almost certain that you will have many questions which you didn't submit during the time of booking, so you can email them to us after. So I do recommend, right, that you do watch the video presentation, right, before the actual consultation, right, but don't wait to watching it, right, before booking. Please don't leave booking until the last minute, as we don't want to disappoint you. Step number 2, become a free Angel Moves member. Membership is completely free, and it gives you access to far more general legislative updates. Most organizations simply tell you what changed in the law, which is national. Yes, your head office, legal team, and AI can tell you that, but this is what we can do and what most others can't. We make it our business to know the enforcement policies your local authority are prioritizing and local policies which are not national news. All local authorities have a duty to enforce compliance laws and practices, but how aggressively they do it and which new policies the actual local authority brings in your area, your lawyer, head office, and AI can't tell you. We can bring this to you before it happens, as we keep our ears close to the ground and are informed by the local authority relationships we have built over the years, placing tenants from emergency temporary accommodation into private sector homes. So we had a vested interest to protect our existing landlords and agents in our network, which are part of our network, and we bring the same service to you. Our aim is to help you understand what those changes mean in practice. So through our work with local authorities, housing professionals, landlords, letting agents, and others across the private rental sector, we continue to build our understanding of how the sector is changing and where the practical risks are actually emerging. That means our members receive practical information designed to help them stay ahead of problems, not simply react after they occur. As a member, you'll receive updates, guidance, educational resources, invitations to webinars, practical compliance information, and news about services and support available through Angel Moves. As our relationships and work across the sector continue to grow, our aim is to bring members even more practical insight and support to help them navigate an increasingly complex private rental sector. Free membership is only the beginning. For landlords and agents who want a greater level of protection and support, our paid memberships start from just £15 per month. Depending on the membership level you choose, you can gain access to additional training at very discounted services, special support, compliance resources, our bespoke systems, and a range of members-only benefits designed to help protect your properties, your business, and your income. Considering the potential financial consequence of enforcement, legal disputes, rent repayment orders, or disrepair claims, many landlords and agents see our membership as a small investment in protecting themselves against far larger risks. And plus, don't forget, these are tax-deductible expenses. So whether you choose our free membership or our paid membership options, our objective is the same: to help you identify risk early, understand your responsibilities more clearly, and put practical systems in place before small problems become expensive ones. So don't wait until you're facing an investigation or complaint or a legal claim. Join Angel Moves today and stay connected to the information, guidance, and support that could make a real difference to tomorrow. Step number 3, book your Category 1 and Category 2 risk assessments. If you haven't done so already, I strongly recommend booking your Category 1 and Category 2 risk hazard assessment. Remember, your biggest risk is usually not outside your property, it is already inside it. The earlier hazards are identified, the easier and usually cheaper they are to deal with. Prevention is always better than trying to defend an enforcement investigation or a legal claim later. Step number 4, book your landlord or agent training. If you're serious about protecting yourself, your business, your property, book onto one of our landlord or letting agent training programs. Many landlords and agents are still reliant on knowledge that worked several years ago. Right, that sector has changed. Tenants are becoming better informed. Enforcement expectations are changing. The cost of getting it wrong can be significant. Our member prices are currently available and places are limited. If you prefer individual one-to-one training rather than group training, speak to us during your consultation and we'll discuss the options available to you. Finally, please take the time to explore the rest of our Angel Moves website. There are videos, guidance, and resources throughout the site that help design to help you understand the bigger picture. This isn't simply about passing a compliance checklist. It is about protecting your properties, your business, and your future. The people who act are usually the ones who have the most options. The people who wait until enforcement begins usually have the fewest. So don't delay. Watch the full 50 things you need to know. Watch the full 50 things you need to know presentation, book your free 30-minute consultation, become a free Angel Moves member. Book your Category 1, Category 2 risk hazard assessment, and if you haven't already, secure a place on landlord and letting agent training program while the current member prices are available at dirty cheap prices. We look forward to speaking to you soon. The risk isn't always a new law, often it's the existing law nobody ever properly checked inside your own properties.